All these little lumps here, every one of them has a little pippy in them. So we just get the pippies out rather than bend over for every one. Dig a few out, put them all together. You only need to bend over once. So I'll collect about 20 pippies. That'll do me for the session this afternoon. And if I run out, I'll get a few more. That's what you're looking for, those little bumps just under the surface. 2 in that one.
Today, how to catch beach worms. One thing you will need is a stink bag, or a burley as we call it, a few fish heads, some gut, something that's nice, oily, smelly. Doesn't have to necessarily stink, can be just fresh, straight out of the fish shop. That works just the same. The other important thing you'll need is a pippy or a hand bait. So when the worm comes up, you put the pippy down for the worm to bite onto. They'll come up and get a hold of that, and then your technique from there is simply come in either side with your fingers, slowly move your fingers in until you can feel the legs of the worm. You'll feel his legs actually tickle your fingers, and what he'll try and do is he'll try and pull that pippy down into the sand. Well, when he's trying to pull it down is the wrong time to try and grab. Don't panic, because he'll go down so far and realise, I'm not doing any good at this, I'll come back up and I'll try and pull it down again. Well, as he's coming up, that is the time to grab that worm. Pick yourself a nice, gentle, sloping section of beach. So that way, as the water recedes like it is now, it gives you a good long vision. We'll just walk down and meet the water here. And you just swing the burley bag back and forth like that. Spread that smell around. Now as that recedes back with the water, the worms smell it straight away. Look at this, right at my feet, straight away, a nice big one. Nice big goldie head. Okay, now here we go, we just pop the pippy down, let him get his little pincers into that. We're waiting for that upward movement, like that, and out he comes. Now that's quite a nice little slide, and we'll coil him up a bit. Best time to be down here is from the half tide out through to the bottom of the tide, and then the first bit of the make. And then that's a nice worm. Okay, fingers in. Just slowly creep your fingers in until you can feel the legs of the worm, and you'll feel it's just down, just pulling down. Okay, up he comes, and out he comes.
See there's right up this end, the little ones. These are a tiny true turn. That's a number 6 true turn. Then it goes up. So I'll use full whiting. I'll use between this number 6 true turn. Normally I'll have a double hook rig, and I'll have a hook just above that plastic. Quite often I go the smaller hook just above the plastic, and that'll catch absolutely everything. And then I'll normally have a bigger hook for whiting on the end. So these are just that cheap old mustard long shanks. That there's a size 2, and that'll be my double hook rig. Just an 8-pound. This one's Stealth FC. What I'm making up here is the trace. Swivel up this end. Above the swivel, as you can see, just the bead and the sand sinker, or the surf sinker, which is a little bit flatter. Now for a double hook rig, so the business end, little hook. When I say little hook, that's a size 6 true turn in blue, separated by a piece of plastic. That's probably around 10 centimeters long. I like it probably up to 15 centimeters long. And the bottom's a size 2 long shank bronze mustard. I'll load them up with bait, whether they be pippies or worms. So the reels I'm using on the beach are the Elvies. They're both 55As. One was made for me, the furthest from the camera here. The line I'm using on it's moi moi. The blue line on the reel furthest is a 17 or 18 pound moi moi. And the line on the one closest to me, that's on the whiting rod, that's a 6 pound moi moi. The rods I'm using in the surf are 11.5 foot rods made by Popey, John Pope down J Street, Scarborough. The rod there on the right, the red one, it's a whiting rod. The one on the right's just a little bit stronger. It's a composite rod. It's probably equivalent to a 5-wrap rod, and it's an everything rod. Whiting, tailor, dart, brim, whatever you want to catch on that rod. Don't forget that the drains or the cuts are the best areas to target. So fish those drains and you'll find your chances increase dramatically. A nice gentle cast just into the gutter here that's in front of us. So I don't have to cast very far at all. The reason I stopped here, I've got a very shallow bank about 30 metres to my right, and the waves are breaking over that, churning up a lot of the bait food, pushing it into this tight little gutter. I'm hoping to find a fish or two. I'll fish this gutter probably for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If I have no joy, I move to the next one. Thread this worm all the way up the hook onto the line, leave a little loop down the bottom, make it look even bigger, and a small tag end. So that's my worm bait there. You can see quite a substantial bit of worm. Up over the hook onto the line, a little bit of tag at the bottom, hooks exposed in the middle with a few curls in the middle. Oh yes, better fish! Right of the death. Very nice. I don't think it's a whiting. I think it's going too hard for a whiting. I'm going to call either a big dart or a tarwine. Wait for this wave. There you go, a tarwine. Not a bad tarwine either. That's another good fish. In a wave. Hoping for a whiting, but thinking another tarwine. Oh no, dart. Oh, that's a decent dart. Oh, mixed bag today.